Hello, hello, hello. We're going to see if this works this time. Fifth time's a charm, right? Welcome. Hello. I'm Delia Yeager. I'm so glad that you're here. And on today's episode of uh, Living the Magic of You, Tools for Living the Magic of You, we're going to talk a little bit about mental health. And there's a lot of trauma that's going on in the world and on their TV and in the information and entertainment world. And it's just a really challenging time in a lot of ways. So, first and foremost, if you have an opportunity to seek out medical help, if you need that, by all means do. Um, there's with the one of the advantages of the COVID world is that a lot of things are done over the computer now that you used to have to do in person, which, maybe it could be difficult to take time off from work and then you have to travel and park and all that kind of stuff. So, whatever is going to support you, by all means, look into it and take care of you. And what we're going to be talking about here are some things in addition to all of that. This is not a substitute for medical assistance or psychological, psychiatric. This is things that you can do. And there's some stuff that really helps people who are sensitive or aware or psychic or um, picking up energies that don't belong to you, because that's usually the kind of person that is attracted to the kind of work that I do. So, if you understand that everything is energy and energy doesn't die, it just changes form. And yet, the conventional wisdom, the way we're taught and trained about who we are and what we're made up of, is inaccurate, right? So, yes, we are biochemical beings and our body chemistry makes a big difference, but we are also electromagnetic beings. And whatever vibration that we're on makes a big difference. And you can tell the vibration, it has physical resonance, it has signatures. If you're in a good mood, right? Then you're kind of bopping along, you're kind of happy and can see colors better, you can hear better and nothing's really bothering you. It has a very different vibration, energetically feeling than if you're, listening to singer-songwriters of, sad and lonely and missed opportunities and those kinds of things, right? I mean, we we read energy all day long. We just do. We call it by different things, but that's what we're doing. So you know how Debbie Downer. That's an example of an energy, a person who's down. Um, there's just you read energy all the time, so you can tell the difference between being up and being down and everywhere in between. And there are things that we habitually do because they kind of validate our conclusions about the world, our definitions about the world, about ourselves, about others. So one of the reasons that I years ago I had a friend who was coming to see me for some sessions about her anxiety. She had a really bad anxiety. And so we were doing some energy things and clearings and giving her some tools. And then in the conversation, we were talking about what kind of things did she like to watch on TV? What did she find relaxing? And she found all the demons and zombie stuff. She said she thought that was fun, right? But when the more we worked with the energy of it, what she realized was that she had herself feelings of being, uh, not really alive, and she liked the zombie shows, uh, partly for the same reason she liked any shows, which is, the love interest and the relationship stuff. But she liked the mutedness and the undead, unaliveness of it, because that for her, she was saying how that really resonated for her about the way she felt. So sometimes we like the TV shows that we like because they reinforce our conclusions, decisions, assumptions, and definitions about life. And so one of the things that you can play with is, what if you watch something different, even if it might be uncomfortable? So, years ago, I decided that I wasn't sure if I had the ability to be happy. And so, I was curious, what could I do to expand my capacity and maybe my tolerance? I wasn't sure for being happy because I had a very serious mental proclivity. Everything should be explainable, and you should be able to put it into words. And if you're not processing, vocabulary, then you're not processing. Just a lot of stuff that was based on stuff. And so I stopped listening to all my favorite singer songwriters, which was the entire of my vast record collection at the time. And by not listening to that music anymore, and that music was like my best friend. I mean, I was, melancholy and longing, and it was soulful, it was deep, it was and living an examined life. I had a lot of meanings attached to those songs and those musicians. That's that stuff. And so when I stopped um, reinforcing all of that, I was looking around for what can I listen to, because I can't listen to the radio, and I can't listen back when we had radio, and I can't listen to the usual stuff. So what can I listen to? And so what I did was I found instrumental Irish music. Now there is a lot of sad Irish music, but there's also jigs. And so I branched out into Irish, and then I branched out into French, and then Italian, anything that didn't have words. And if they did have words, they were not English. And it was really very helpful. It was really very potent. And it helped to change things for me considerably, because I wasn't constantly reinforcing lack and loss and uncertainty. Lack, loss, uncertainty, not enough, not enough, not enough. And so you can experiment and play with watching different things than you're used to. And that might mean watching things that you're used to making fun of, and exploring what if you're going from kind of more depressive, which is where most everybody is, and you want to find something more less depressive, right? You might explore some new areas. There's a lot of I know books are really good for this too. There's a lot of fantasy that actually is productive. It's not just escapism. It's like, how could you make the world a better place? What is possible? There's this really great movie, Tomorrowland, which is not Kevin Cooney. You don't know him. Um, George Clooney, Tomorrowland. And it's a great movie about, okay, so all this bad stuff is happening, but what can we do? What can we do? And the more you cultivate, yes, but what can I do? Especially in the tsunami of how you can't do anything about any of this. It's all too big for any of us, right? And I'm not saying that there's not an element of truth to all of that, but what can you do? Because right here, right now, there are things that you can do for you that will turn your experience of life from um, overwhelming and tsunami of caca and into something a lot more pleasant. And the more each of us are kinder to us and more on our side, the more you are on your side, the more kind you are to you, the more you give yourself actual rest. Take yourself off the hook. Allow yourself to be however it is that you are right now. The best tool I know for that is journaling. And it doesn't have to be for hours in a day, although I've certainly done that. It can be very simple. So you can make a deal with yourself that you're going to write 3 pages every day. And in those 3 pages, you can have, pardon me, you can have non sequiturs, you can have incomplete sentences, you can you can write out how stupid you think this is. But you just keep your pen moving. Now, this is not typing, this is a pen exercise. This is a physical exercise. Uh, Keep your pen moving for 3 pages and just allow your system, allow your mind, allow your body, emotions, everything to say whatever is coming up to say, even if it's, I don't know what to say. Even if you have to write that over and over again. But the more you do this practice of journaling the 3 pages, and let's say you decide you're going to do this experiment. And let's say you're going to do this experiment for 21 days or 12 days or 7 days, pick a number. And then if you can do it at the same time of day, that makes it easier for you. And then you write the 3 pages and you can say anything. You can't, there's nothing verboten. You can say anything in these 3 pages. And your kind of deal with yourself is that you can say anything that you want. You can't say anything wrong here. And that you're not going to criticize yourself and you're not going to correct yourself and you're not going to judge yourself. And if you do this, and it's a habit to develop to not judge yourself. It's yeah, it's no simple feat. And when you do that, then you are a safe place for you to be for 3 pages a day. That's like 15 minutes, right? What happens is you're introducing to your daily diet of life and living 15 minutes of unconditional love. And believe me, that changes everything. It changes everything when you're getting a daily dose of actual appreciation, actual value, actual mattering to you. It changes everything. It'll change your heart rate. It'll change your body chemistry. It'll change your stomach acids. It'll change your sleep. It'll change your hunger, how you eat. It changes everything. So um, be aware of what you're consuming as far as entertainment or what you're reading, what you're watching. You know, every time, you know how when the body doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's not real. So if you're having a dream where something is happening, your body chemistry will correspond to the images in the dream. So like if you're running in the dream, then your body is going to have the physiological responses of running. And so if you're perceiving that you're unconditionally loved, that you're safe, that you're whole, that you're complete, that you've got your back, it's going to change everything. Um, oh, that's where I was going to. When you're watching um, the twin towers coming down again, or you're watching this traumatic thing again, or you're watching, there's just a lot of these things that are really traumatic right now. um, I'm just picking something old because it's less present. So that is like burns your eyeballs, right? That's the poetic way of saying it. It's like burning that image into your system more and more and more. And then your biochemistry responds as though that very tragic thing that you're looking at is happening right now. I mean, the world is so crazy since 9/11 that murder, dead bodies, autopsies, rape, gaslighting each other, abusive relationships of all kinds, mental abuse, financial abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse. All of these things now are called entertainment. They're on television like they're entertainment, and they're all traumatic, right? In a healthy environment, the correct response to these things is trauma. It's just this is wrong. This is out of the norm. This should not be happening. And that's what passes for entertainment now. So be aware of what are you watching? What are you looking at? What are you seeing? And what are you reading? And what could you be watching, reading, seeing differently that would actually be kind and nurturing to you? And see how being with you differently changes how you experience life. So, this is all about empowering you to make changes. You have tools and possibilities at your disposal that you may not have thought of and that you may not have employed before. So, what if you tried some? See what happens. See what happens when you're more effectively on your side. What's possible? All right. Thank you so much for being with me today. And I'd love to hear your comments, your experiences with this, with these techniques. So I wish you the best, and I will see you later.